Animal. Those are not real. Leave it. Oh. Sorry, baby. So why in the world do people make fake plants? I agree. Why do we have fake food and things? That's not right. No, we don't need that. Get away. Shh. Animal. Shh. Persistence. Today I did a static dance. It was loud. It was a good DJ. There was a lot of stuff going on. I did find my way into some journey work, and that was nice. So the first space I kind of fell into was like this tiny bit of algae or something in a river, and I followed the river's course as it went around rock, and I got stuck in whirlpools and just like all these different things. Just kind of going with the flow of the water. And then I was the water. And when I was the water, I noticed there were certain things I would go around. And that felt like what I know of water. Is like going with the flow, go around things, like whatever. But there was a part where suddenly I was confronted with like soil over a rock or something, and I could feel that that was the place to go. And so I just kept eroding away at the thing. And I found that quality of water to be very interesting, because I hadn't really thought about it before. But that persistence on a path, and that it's like, well, I know that this is the right way. This is where I'm supposed to be going. So that was nice. And then I think I took a break, took a little walk, and came back. I can't remember exactly, but I felt my way to being a mole, a little mole. And the mole was digging through the soil and using its big claws. It was like pulling the soil around, and then I used my body to push the soil past me and then kind of kick it backwards and creating my tunnels. Beastie said it was like you're swimming through the soil. I thought that was interesting, but again, with this sort of persistence in pushing through soil, and it's like, okay, it's clearly a theme there of a gentle persistence, and I'm like, what should I do with this? We'll see. The mole said, shut your eyes and walk around. And there's a lot of people at a static dance. And I thought, well, I'm a little worried, but if I close my eyes and other people see that my eyes are shut, and I hold out one arm and kind of like an antenna, that I'm just slightly aware of what's in front of me. So a funny thing happened. I almost walked into someone, and they were somebody I was used to seeing at a static dance, and they know my personality and different things, but they blew on me, and I could feel their presence, and I opened my eyes just very briefly to them laughing, and I was like, oh, okay, like I'm clearly not headed in a direction of like open space. Going to run into an individual. So I closed my eyes again and continued on, maybe a little bit more slowly, carefully though. And then I was like, well, moles use their sense of smell, and my allergies are like killing me right now. And I was like, can I just like smell my way around people? And I couldn't really pick up anything. So I was like, what other sensation am I supposed to use? And that person that had shown me this air or wind and like this breeze that helped me find direction, there was a fan set up in the far corner, and while my eyes are shut, I'm like feeling areas where there is no breeze, and I oriented myself and was like, an area that is lacking breeze has an individual blocking it, so there's a thing there. And so then I just found the pockets that were blowing cool air. And then I noticed, as my eyes were shut, the sunlight. I could still kind of feel the presence of sunlight behind my closed eyes. And so yeah, I followed the breeze and the sunlight, and I ended up right in front of the fan. And it felt really great because I was sweating so much. But I liked that. I liked being able to use my senses to move. But most often they come with a particular message for me and what I need for my immediate life or week. So now is the time to think about that lightly. Just let it be. So I just asked the question, what in particular would you like me to use this energy for this concept? And then I just let it be. I ask the question, and whenever the answer comes in is when I'm supposed to know the answer. But having asked it, it's just opening the door. Animal. Oh my god. You can't eat that. I love you, animal. I'm kind of a prolific painter. So what I do is I start a whole bunch of paintings. Like acrylic, oil, like everything. Hey, oh my gosh. I think Dornock is saying that he wants a snack. So I start a bunch of paintings and then I'm like, they just kind of sit and like, it says kind of what I wanted to say, but they're not polished. Like it's nothing I would hang up on the wall. So then I end up going through them and I'm like, what do I need to do to this for it to like be on the wall? Like my wall, anybody's wall. And like, so yeah, I go back through and kind of like make sense of them and polish them up. Because I want them to be seen, maybe? I don't know what the point of doing the art is, I just do it. So this is an actual image, actually, from last summer. I have these hollyhock plants that grow insanely tall, like, God, I want to say 10, 12 feet, just massively tall. And the sun was coming out. It was daybreak. The plants were silhouetted at the top with like this glow of light around all the stems, and I just stared at it for like ever. Like I just like fell into it as long as I could. I don't think I got any pictures or anything, but this is just like a memory of that. I was very surprised to have hollyhock show up at the house when I moved in. So I painted them a lot and drew them. I had planted some in a garden and then I moved, and so I never got to see them bloom. And then when I moved here, and I was surprised with like, okay, there's just nothing but lawn here mostly, and these massive hollyhocks, like, what? And I was, yeah, it was just like a really nice surprise to be like, oh, I just moved to this new house and I gotta start the landscaping and all that. And it was like the house said, hey, we heard your wish and your sadness that you didn't get to see the hollyhock, and they're here. They're actually here. So it's just a little synchronicity the universe likes to give me to say you're in the right spot, doing the right things. That's one of many, anyway. I think this is getting there. I like that it's just really simple. I love doing silhouettes. I don't know why. They're like my favorite thing. I usually do like nighttime drawings. They're some of my favorite. subject matter, nighttime landscapes, things like that. I like thinking about shadows within shadows. I like thinking about the depth that darkness has. I like thinking about what things are highlighted in the dark by like the moon. Kind of like this little illumination happening. I meditate outside in the dark a lot. I just like the peace. Everything's very quiet. Observing. That's the thing. Being observant. Sitting in a place and sketching it, whether it's a still life, a landscape, any kind of study, I kind of have to just be and accept whatever's there. I can't really, I'm always going to interject part of me into a thing, but there's a point of like, where do I exist and where does the other thing exist? Where do I start? Where does it end? Am I part of the landscape that I'm drawing? Why am I trying to capture it? I don't usually ask why. I usually just do it. I don't ask a lot of whys right now. I don't know. Why is it this way? Why is it that way? My rabbit's eating everything in the house, so this is time to pause.